All right, thank you for staying with us. It's time now to review top stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the Nation newspaper. The major story here says, INEC, reset of beavers are must for governorship poll. Court decides today on Labour Party's legal battle with election agency. INEC, reset of beavers a must for governorship poll. Court decides today on Labour Party's legal battle with election agency. All right, you find all the details on the front page of the Nation newspaper. To this Nigerian newspaper now, court rules today on Obi INEC's beavers case. Decides on Tinubu's demand to inspect materials. 2. APC appoints 13 SANs to defend President-elect's victory. APC appoints 13 senior advocates of Nigeria to defend President-elect's victory. All the details on the front page of this Nigerian newspaper. So the first newspaper now, Beavers, Tribunal rules on Tinubu APC INEC. Obi's motion today. As President-elect seeks court order to inspect INEC materials to defend his election. And to the Nigerian News Direct, rejection of polls, tough battle before tribunal as APC appoints 13 senior advocates of Nigeria to defend Tinubu. Tinubu seeks court to access sensitive materials for defense. I refuse to congratulate Tinubu because election was grossly flawed, contentious. Kwankwaso, that's the NNPP candidate speaking there. Mike?
All right, I have the Blueprint newspaper here. And it says, as Atiku will be challenged February 25 polls results, Tinubu prepares defense. Appeal court rules on beavers and machines today. And Fagbemi leads APC's 13-man defense team at Presidential Election Tribunal. Beavers reconfiguration will tamper with evidence. Labour Party and PDP are saying this. All this on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. From there, let's go to the Leadership newspaper. 3 days to governorship polls. Governors tighten news on opposition. Wike splits Rivers Labour Party as faction adopts Fubara. State EXCOs dissolved. Okay, that's what the Leadership newspaper has. Daily Trust is next. Daily Trust says, we didn't direct banks to disburse old notes. The CBN is re-emphasizing here. We didn't direct banks to disburse old notes. More banks pay old currency. Business outlets reject notes. Direct Apex Bank to obey Supreme Court order, Buhari urged. All that's on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. Now let's go to the Punch newspaper. Fuel stations, others reject old Naira, banks ration cash. Fuel stations, others reject old Naira, banks ration cash. Accepting old 500 Naira and 1,000 Naira will hamper business, say retailers and others. And CBN adamant refuses to direct banks to obey Apex Court judgment. That's what the Punch newspaper has there. Let's go to Nature News. Nature News is on the food crisis, and it says Nigeria ranks 5th after Yemen, Ethiopia, others. On food crisis, Nigeria ranks 5th after Yemen, Ethiopia, and others. That's Nature News. Business Day is next, and it says IWD, that is International Women's Day. Nigerian women eye bigger share of tech space. Nigerian women eye bigger share of tech space. That's what the big story is on the front page of Business Day. The Guardian is next. Tinubu files suit as appeal court rules on INEC's move to reconfigure beavers. That's what the Guardian newspaper says. Tinubu files suit as appeal court rules on INEC's move to reconfigure the beavers. Okay. From there, let's go to Daily Sun. Daily Sun newspaper says the Presidential Election Tribunal rules on beavers. Tinubu seeks nod to inspect materials. All right. Why Kwankwaso didn't congratulate President-elect? NNPP is saying this. All this you see on the front page of the Daily Sun. From there, let's go to the last one we're looking at. This Day newspaper is the last one we're seeing here. Appeal court rules today on INEC's request to very order permitting PDP Labour Party to inspect poll materials. All right? That's what you see on the front page of this day newspaper. Veronica?
All right. In the spirit of International Women's Day, let's begin in this manner. Yesterday, INEC presented certificates of return to members of the National Assembly, those who were just elected. And speaking with our reporter yesterday, she said that just 3 women made it this time around, as against 7.
In the ninth National
Assembly. So we are just going to have 3 representation of women this time around, and that is quite mind-boggling as we speak, Sam.
Well, we thought that we're moving towards the
inclusion,
the diversity. So we're going to have just men in the Senate, old men, deciding the fate of young men and women, and so on. It is very sad for our democracy. The democracy is supposed to include at least a quarter of them should be women at this stage.
We've always spoken about 35% of our nation.
35%. We're not even 5%. The way we have it there, it's really sad. The women's movement started over 100 years ago, it was based on certain principles: property, politics, and there's one third one: property, politics, and patriarchy. Thank you. These 3. The patriarchy part of it is what we are seeing. All the men. The property, when you have patriarchy, you can't have property for women, and then you don't even have control of the politics. So those are the 3 strategies that we have it, and these are pursued by people like Betty Friedan and so on, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and the movements went on, and we thought that progress was going on, but the men have a way of coming back and asserting control of what is going on. But then the people voted. Men voted, women voted in these elections.
Yeah.
And women voted for men over men. So something must be said about the so-called women movement in Nigeria.
Women supporting women.
Those women who say they are in politics. What did they do to bring, to sensitize the people as to what is going on? What is going on? But anyway, some of the women were voting for men against their own people because they were thinking about religion.
But we saw what
Some
happened.
of them were thinking about religion, thinking about ethnicity, rather than even thinking about that. It shows that women played a lower role to.
But do we have a level playing field for women? We saw what happened in Kogi State, for instance, with Natasha Akpoti, where she reported that the state governor had to excavate some roads leading up to some places where people were going to vote.
Even if you excavated those places, the places didn't excavate, there were no women there.
There were women there.
Why did they vote?
But
Where did they
eventually
vote
they were.
to?
Of course, I'm just
there were
saying
women everywhere.
that are we giving women the needed level playing field to play
Even
the
if
same way the men are playing?
If he did not excavate those roads, there were also men on the other side too.
Of course.
And the women. So
we've
it's the
been
same
seeing
thing.
the show of force with regards to her own case. That's where I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah.
In fact, the men ride on the backs of these women to achieve what we
Why
have
did
seen.
the women give them their backs to ride on?
Of course, these are critical issues. These are critical
Uncle Sam,
issues.
Uncle Sam,
We cannot take
Uncle Sam,
away the role
that back is very important.
That back?
No, that back
That
is
is why
very...
they should have preserved it and not allow men to ride
Ride
on
on
it.
it.
They should
That back
have
is
No,
very
but
important.
They should have
it's
stood
important.
erect. So why do you bow? When you bow,
Are we really?
They ride on top of
Are
it.
we being sincere, providing a level playing field?
Who are
All right,
we?
all right. I
we-
think
we-
let me come in this way. Let
Please
me
come
come in
in.
this way. The issue there is, this level playing field we talk about, we have seen it being demystified in such a way that there is no level playing field anybody is going to give to you if you don't create it. We have seen Labour Party, for instance. They came up with their own strategy. They decided to organize themselves, and they made the level of whether it is a benchmark or standard behavior or not. The one where they came up with their own strategy, and they organize themselves. So women, when we talk about women, and all of that, there is no level playing field. We mustn't always be on the field, combating each other, confronting each other before we organize each other. How much of coordination are the women have, working amongst themselves? You don't even need to be on TV or to be on radio before you organize. Social media does a lot of gives a lot of opportunity and leverage. Give opportunity for people to voice out and connect and organize. So the point there is, this women emancipation or women gender equality and so on, I think women have to do better, because this power we're talking about, nobody is going to, in fact, until the end of time, nobody is going to say, hey, oh yeah, come on, we are keeping it. It is only, it is only when it is appointed posts. Come and be my minister of this, come and be my secretary of this. You don't make decisions as an appointed person. You're only given a task to carry out as an appointive official. You do the bidding of whoever appoints you. It is when you are elected that you have the power and the authority to do anything that you can use your authority for. So, for instance, the National Assembly or President, Chief Executive or National Assembly, as the case may be. And we know that, of course, when it comes to judiciary, the authority of the judiciary is totally different from the authority of the National Assembly or the executive.
Absolutely.
So the point there is that the 35% affirmative action we're talking about, appointed position cannot deliver that thing. Because when
the president-elect had said that
he has said so, he will still not deliver that same thing. It's a good way to start.
You can't categorically.
No. The point there is that you, as a minister,
he made a promise.
As a minister, of course, as a minister, your authority is to your principal. Your allegiance is to your principal.
Right.
But as a National Assembly official, for instance, or a Senate or a House of Rep, as the case may be, your authority is to your allegiance is to the people, loyal to the people.
One point must be made too, that the women's wings of those political parties, what are they doing? The women's wings are more interested in, I need money to do this, or I need the money to go and mobilize. I'm more interested in the money they will use and the ceremonies they do, and I want to get a trip, I want to go to London, please help me get some money. I have seen them do many things like that.
Better Edu, for instance.
Yes.
She spoke with us. That doesn't seem like that was what she was doing.
Better Edu is just one. But you can see even APC, I mean, from what you can see, they only have three.
What Uncle Sam is even saying, Uncle Sam is saying is that Better Edu's agility and all of that
was to deliver the men.
He's delivering the men. How much of the women is he delivering? That's what he's saying.
Of course.
After all, it's women that deliver men.
Exactly.
We have to wrap it up here now. The discussion is over. I can't do it.